Okay.
There we go. What's a clapper these days?
I really do need one of those thingies, though.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be making
I
it
know, that
better.
would be cool.
I know. Are we really official if we don't have one?
No.
You know? First of all, Darcy, thank you so much for meeting with me. And you're with NaturBaker. So, tell me a little bit how you got started with NaturBaker, because I know you sort of go back more into the blogging days. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Becca, for having me. It's wonderful to talk to you today.
Yes.
I would say NaturBaker, it's all kind of a haze, but I would say it started about 4 years ago. I was a very young mother of adorable one-year-old boy who was just starting to eat regular foods, and we were quickly underestimating what his allergies were. And so as I started to feed him normal foods and start to learn kind of motherhood, how to feed a baby, what ended up happening was that I found out he was allergic to a lot of what I was trying to feed him. And I didn't know it at the time, but he started suffering through some bouts, like gastrointestinally, and I started to realize that something was wrong. So he wasn't really growing, his height was stunted, his hair didn't even come like till he was 2.5 years old. And we found out after the fact that it was because he was allergic to milk and wheat. So once we cut that out, his height shot up, his hair shot out, and he just grew. And so that was like an eye-opening moment for me that I think planted the seeds of NaturBaker.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So with that, whenever you learned that he was allergic to like the milk and the wheat, whenever you took that out of the diet, how long did it take before you noticed, oh my gosh, like this happened?
Couple of weeks.
A couple?
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of weeks. Yeah. And then, I mean, that was eye-opening. It was eye-opening for me when I was trying to get pregnant with my little one because it was pretty difficult. I just lost my energy. There was this fog. And so one of the last things that I tried to do, and believe me, there were a lot of things I tried to do before that point, was get allergy tested. And so when I did, I found out I was extremely allergic to wheat. And all my life, I grew up on a farm. I grew up, with homemade bread. All my life, I was eating wheat. So like when I cut that out, it was really depressing for a moment there because I was like, well, what am I gonna eat? There's nothing left in the world. Like I can't have beer, I can't have bread. I mean, I might as well give up. But after about a month of powering through, I realized that there's so much out there, you just have to change your perspective on what to prepare for yourself. And so that was really the eye-opening moment was when I got allergy tested. I found that out and then I cut it out and 2 weeks later I got pregnant.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
2 weeks later.
Yeah, after
That's
2 years
insane.
of trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a coincidence. I just don't.
Yeah.
A lot changed. My energy shot up. I was actually able to feel like I was awake, like when you're focusing on something. I just couldn't get out of that brain fog for so long. And I mean, I lost a little bit of weight, which wasn't a pain for me. I mean, it wasn't a bad thing. And all in all, my life improved. And then along came my youngest, Dylan, and he had severe allergies. So once we started introducing food for him, 6 of the top 8 food allergens were like life-threatening. And I realized at that moment, I couldn't trust anybody else. I couldn't trust brands to be transparent because no matter what I picked, even if I looked at it, it would still make him itch till he was almost bloody all night long, every night. And for a 1-year-old, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
For a mom of a 1-year-old, it's a huge deal. So understanding that Dylan had these severe allergies, Finn my eldest had also allergies, and then I did as well, it started to become really apparent that I had no choice but to make it myself. And that's what I started to do. I started to blog, I started to bake and cook meals for other families that really wanted whole, real foods. And then I started to also bake for my husband's clients because he was a personal trainer and a coach. From the cooking, it was so incredible, but making a profession out of it was exhausting, having 2 little ones. I mean, I'm not even joking. I'd have one on my back one of my arms shaking and nursing while I'm stirring a pot for like 10 people that I'm gonna feed in 4 hours, because they would never nap. So like I was out of my kitchen cooking for several families at a time every single day. And it was really awesome, and it did, you know, it did fit the bill for me, but I realized that to do that kind of operation, you really have to have more hands on deck. So it transitioned to snacks, it transitioned to baked goods, because those were things that I can do ahead of time. I can keep, I can freeze, and then other people can enjoy them. And that's kind of where the baking started to feed into it. I was really never a baker by nature. I was more of like a lover of cooking. But the baking tended to support my lifestyle with 2 little ones. And once I started to do that, it became really apparent really quickly that there was barely any resources out there, and that people really needed somebody to provide them with something that was beyond your mass market store-bought brands. And that's kind of where NaturBaker was born.